Good evening, everybody. It's time for another reading. Tonight is going to come to you by Brave. Merida's Wild Ride. It was a soggy, stormy afternoon. Merida sat in the stables reading from an old book of Highland Tales. She and her horse, August, wanted to go for a ride, if only the weather would clear up. Look at the picture of the brownies, Merida said. The book says these little goblins who cause mischief unless you keep them well fed. Sounds like my brothers. August snorted, shaking his head. It was clear that he wanted nothing to do with the magical creatures, especially after their last encounter. Even though Merida had been able to transform her mom back from a bear to a human, Merida had learned that magic was not to be taken lightly. Merida read on until raindrops slowed and the clouds began to scatter. Come, lad, Merida told Augustin. The sun's breaking through. Let's go ride. Let's go for a ride. He galloped across the bridge and down the hill, but just as they reached the woods, Merida saw a flash of gray darts through the trees. What was that? She cried. I just didn't want to follow it. Whatever it was, didn't be a ninny, Merida chided him. I'm sure it's not a bear, but what was it, Merida? Guided Augustin into the woods, keeping their eyes open for a glimpse of the creature. They rode. Merida kept catching flashes of an animal. She urged Augustin to go faster until they broke through the trees and into a clearing. There stood a magnificent gray horse. Its coat shining, its mane was like fine silk. Breathless with excitement, Merida whispered to Augustin, "He's beautiful." Merida dismounted and approached the horse with a gentle smile. "Come here, I won't hurt you." Suddenly Augustin blocked Merida's path. "Augustin," she called, "don't be jealous, lad. This horse must be lost. We need to help him. Are you sure he's safe?" Merida called the gray horse, and it responded with a soft whine. "To Augustin, he's friendly." Merida stroked the horse's nose playfully. "Now I'll ride him back to the castle, and you'll follow close behind, okay, Augustin?" Merida had a spare bridle in Augustin's pack. She decided not to use it. She didn't want to spook the horse with an unfamiliar ring. Instead, Merida decided she could guide him back with her hand wrapped around his mane. Augustin gave a resounding snort as Merida swung up onto the gray horse's back. But as soon as she mounted him, the horse reared wildly. Merida tried to calm the horse, but It started running faster and faster. The strange horse galloped until the fields were far behind them. Soon the trees began to thin. Merida gasped in horror. They were racing towards the edge of a cliff. Merida tried everything she could to get the horse to stop. But nothing worked. She realized her only choice was to leap from the horse's back. But when she moved to jump, her hands were stuck to the horse's mane. His hair was sticky and knotted, yelled Mary. She couldn't free her hands. It was as if she was held there by magic. Merida tried to slide off the horse's side, but nothing could free her hands from the mane. She thought she was out of options. Then suddenly, the runaway horse brushed against the trunk of a tree. Trapped rainwater fell down around Merida. Effortlessly, one of her hands came loose. Merida's other hand was still stuck. Merida did the only thing she could think of. Augustine, she cried, help! Merida could only hope that her friend could hear her. Go get back in bed! God damn it, go then! Go! Merida looked up at the sound of the wine next to them as he carried the spare bridle in his mouth. Must have pulled it from the pack to help Merida. Then tossed it through the air. Just as they were nearing the cliff edge, Merida caught it with her free hand and slipped it over the horse's head. As soon as the horse was bridled, Merida's trapped hands came free. With the reins, she turned the horse away from the steep drop-off. Now that the horse had calmed down, Merida guided him to a safe path beside the sea. They reached the shore and the horse finally slowed to a stop. Grateful, Merida jumped off. Stein stood quietly. Merida looked in its eyes for an answer about what had caused the wild ride. It was clear to her that there was no ordinary horse. Must be created by magic. Merida removed the bridle, whispering quietly, "What are you?" But the horse did not reply. She simply moved its head softly as it was nodding before it galloped down a misty shoreline and into the water. Merida frowned as she watched him. The horse raced deep into the sea. It seemed to disappear in the fog. Merida mounted Augustine and returned home. She was glad that the strange horse had not harmed her. She wanted to explanation for the wild ride. Back at the stables, Merida flipped through the book of Highland legends, looking for an answer until she saw a picture of the familiar horse. Look, she showed the book to Augustine. It's a kelpie. The book says once The bridle is put on a kelpie. The water horse will do your bidding. Augustin snorted in disbelief. Don't worry, lad, Merida said. I won't be riding another one anytime soon. You're the only horse for me. Augustin nuzzled his head against Merida's hand, as if implying that she was the only girl for him. Alright, that was tonight's story. I do hope you enjoyed that one. So it's always easy again tomorrow. Bye-bye.